In this video, I'm going to show you 10 steps to become a more elegant person at work. All of this in an authentic, natural way so people will admire you wherever you are. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the Etiquette and Protocol channel. I'm Juliana Santiago, a teacher and etiquette specialist. And today we're going to talk a little more about how you can become a more elegant person in the workplace. Doing all of this in a natural and light way so that people will truly admire you and really notice that you are an elegant person. Many people associate elegance with clothes, outfits, pieces, or brand items, but elegance is much more related to your everyday behavior. The way you are, the way you treat other people, and the way you present yourself. We do have aspects of personal image that are associated with elegance, but it's worthless. There's no point in carrying a Louis Vuitton bag if your clothes are all dirty and your hair needs washing, right? So there's no point in wearing designer pieces if the rest doesn't match. Let's get to our 10 steps. The first point is to pay attention to your body posture. The way you present yourself says a lot about how you want to be seen and how people should perceive you. So if you show that you're interested, that you listen to what the other person says, that you pay attention, it's natural for people to notice that too, to be able to see you that way. One very important thing is the way you sit. So it's no use sitting with your legs, with your arms, with your whole body slouched. That, especially in a business meeting, is not appropriate. When you want to present something, when you want to show that you are present, your posture needs to be aligned with what you want to convey. And many times you might even be in a meeting just as a listener. But being there, looking like that environment is totally boring, isn't good for you. It's not interesting. Your clothes need to be appropriate for the environment where you work. As I already said at the beginning of the video, there's no point in wearing designer clothes if what you're wearing isn't appropriate for that environment. For example, clothes that are too wrinkled, too short, too tight, or too flashy will keep you from conveying that elegance in the workplace. First, we need to analyze the dress code at your workplace. How do the people who work there with you, how do they dress? Juliana, I'm not sure. I don't know how I should dress at my job. I just changed jobs and I feel a little lost. So it's interesting for you to observe the leaders, the owner of the company, the directors of that company, the chief executive officer. How does he dress? And from that, you'll be able to gather information about what the company's dress code should be. Are you unsure? You can also ask human resources. There's nothing wrong with asking. It's much better for you to ask and be sure you'll get it right, that you'll be in line with what's expected, than to just make up a dress code on your own in a random way. So, if you join a company or have any doubts, ask human resources for the company's code of conduct. It will definitely be much more effective and more interesting for you to dress appropriately. Paying attention to your tone of voice is another practice we need to adjust in the workplace. Shouting or calling people with a very loud tone of voice like that. You're there in the workplace in a room with several people sharing that space with you, and you keep shouting like, hey Maria, where's that report? No, if you want to talk to Maria, you can send her a message. In the system the company uses, you can go to Maria's workstation. But yelling is something that people, they won't like. They will associate you with a completely inelegant image of an uneducated person. And that's not what we want to build here. So we need to pay attention to our tone of voice as well. Not just with this issue of yelling and calling out to other people, but also in the company's communication. If you notice that you speak very loudly, you'll need to adjust that. Juliana, how do I know if my tone of voice is loud? Ask someone you're close to, like your husband, your wife, a friend, or a close acquaintance. Even outside work, if you have a loud voice, you'll speak loudly everywhere. So you can ask someone you're close to so you can make adjustments. That's because in the workplace, we need to use an appropriate tone of voice. This also happens if you have a very low tone of voice. If you're very shy, that's not good because what will it project? shyness, insecurity. That's not something we want to convey in the workplace. In the workplace, we're selling ourselves all the time, selling our ideas, selling our work. We want to sell more projects. We want a new promotion. We want to sell more products. So we need to work. Adjusting that tone of voice, asking people close to you is a great way to see if your tone of voice is okay. Punctuality is also another essential factor for you to be a more elegant person in the workplace. For example, at work, you just can't arrive 10 minutes late. The meeting is at 2 post-meridian at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's at 2 o'clock, not at 2:10. If you're going to be late, it's essential that you let people know you'll be late. It's unacceptable to be late for a work meeting. So something unexpected happened. You couldn't log into your computer at that time. Something happened in traffic. You were on your way and got lost. Let people know, okay? You can't just show up late to work. Punctuality is something essential. And not just physical punctuality, like being present at a meeting on time or at a project in a presentation, but also punctuality with deadlines. So for example, the delivery is for Monday at 8 a.m. It's Monday at 8 a.m. If you can't deliver, notify people in advance. All of this will help transform your image into that of an elegant person. And elegance is closely associated with confidence, discretion, presence, and posture. And all of this will reflect in the way people see you in the workplace. Personal care is also something that will make a big difference for us to be able to build this elegant image at work. Here, I'm not talking about you wearing makeup and being super perfumed. No. But for example, your nail polish is coming off halfway. Guys, just take it off. If you can't do your nails that day, don't get them done. Chipped nail polish isn't okay. You need to remove it. It can make the workplace smell bad. Wearing unwashed or dirty clothes in the workplace isn't acceptable. These are details that may seem small, simple, but they make all the difference. How are your shoes? You go to work with clean shoes, since dirty or old shoes must be cleaned or replaced before you can work. So these personal hygiene details make a big difference in conveying this image. And these appearance details are small, but they really communicate even in a non-verbal way. Even without you saying a word, these are details you present that make people interpret you as someone who is truly elegant. Description is also another factor that we need to adjust here. And here I'm talking about the famous gossip in the workplace. So passing on information and commenting about people's lives is not a good idea. Because at work, we need to understand that many times we're not in an environment with our friends. You might be able to become friends with someone you met at work. But that's a phase 2. It's another stage. Naturally, people are there sharing work with you. And what if you start making a lot of petty complaints and gossip? People will see you as someone who gossips, who talks badly about others behind their backs. So it's important for us to understand that the workplace is not our circle of friends. We need to separate that. Knowing how to listen is also something that will make you an elegant person without much effort in the workplace. At work, it's natural for many people to have a lot of ideas. So sometimes someone will present a project or introduce a new idea. Or even when you're meeting with a supplier or a client, we need to let the other person speak. This is a very interesting hook about generation, about charisma, and how we can, in a very authentic way, make people like us. And very few people use this. Let people talk, let people tell their stories, let people present, let people express themselves. And then you say what you think, whether you like it or not. And here's a tip. If by any chance someone says something to you and you don't like it, always use that sandwich rule. For example, someone showed you a project you didn't like. First, compliment their idea. Wow, it's great you thought of this. It's amazing you're bringing new possibilities to the company. However, I think that at this moment, this idea isn't very feasible. But who knows? Maybe in the future, we can incorporate this initiative you came up with. See? I gave a compliment, a criticism, and a compliment. Did you get it? That makes all the difference for you to maintain your communication in the professional environment, and I'm sure it will help you communicate better. In the workplace, organization in your work environment is also something we really need to focus on. So your workstation needs to be organized, your bag needs to be organized, and the notebook you use to take notes as well. It can't be all old with pages falling out, with the cover peeling off, all scribbled on. All these details will make people form an impression of who you are because, as I mentioned earlier, they are small details that together will build your image and influence how people feel around you. And you have the ability to give all this information to these people to make people see you in an elegant way. Elegance isn't something that only a few people can have or be. No, everyone can. That's the point. But we insist on acting and speaking, doing, so I do, so I'll show you, do, so show you, do, so I'll show you, show, do, show you, I'll show you, do, I'll show you how to do it, show, so I will. I'll show you how to do it, I'll show you how to do it, so I'll show you how to do it. All the practices of etiquette and good behavior. I'm waiting for you. Kindness to everyone is also another point we need to observe in the workplace. In the workplace, we need to treat everyone equally. There are people who only want to treat the boss well. Then, for example, the doorman of your company's building arrives. You don't even greet people. They notice that, they observe and talk about it. You know that little gossip circle you don't want to be part of? In it, people will be talking exactly about that. So we don't want to give them any material. We don't want people to see us as opportunists. And honestly, we really don't want to be opportunists. That's why we're going to treat everyone in a courteous, kind way, treating everyone with politeness, care, empathy, and respect, because that makes our image a solid one. An image of someone who can enter and leave any environment, an image of a confident person, an image that doesn't even make your boss feel insecure. Because he knows that wherever you are, you'll be able to deal with people in situations. Communication by email and message is also something we need to pay attention to. In the corporate environment, we use this type of communication a lot. So it's essential for us to be able to create an email structure. We need to include the subject, sign the emails we send, and write in a clear and precise way. If necessary, schedule a meeting. Many times we hear people say, wow, this meeting could have been an email. But often there really is a need to have a meeting so the email doesn't get too long and full of ideas. So we need to learn how to use email and communication tools. And the same thing happens with WhatsApp. For example, abbreviating words too much on WhatsApp. Writing in all caps is not a good idea because it gives the impression that you're yelling at the person all the time. Writing too many words in bold and italics can be confusing too. So we need to use everything strategically. By the way, in the Etiquette and Good Manners course, there's a module on electronic communication and an exclusive lesson about email. So if you haven't taken our course yet, take this opportunity. I'll leave the link in the description for you to join. Knowing how to deal with criticism is, I think, the key to being an elegant person. It really is very difficult in a work environment to deal with feedback, with responses, and with our own expectations too, because many times we do something that we think is amazing. And in fact, it didn't meet the expectations. It wasn't what was expected. So we need to do it again. I'll repeat it here. Know how to listen. So listen carefully and calmly. If you want to reinforce some points, do it subtly. Don't speak aggressively, and also don't show through your body language that you're not interested in that feedback. For example, someone gives you feedback, says something, and you just stand there carelessly. It's like with a kind of unpleasant face. It's not a good idea for you to do that, right? By the way, if you want to learn more about behavior practices, on my etiquette and protocol profile, I'm sharing tips and information there every day. Do you follow me on social media? Be sure to follow me. Over there, I'm always giving tips on how to deal with these difficult situations. Because knowing how to deal with criticism is really something complicated, and we need to learn how to do it in our daily lives. Finally, I believe the key to being elegant at work is authenticity. You need to be who you are. There's no point in trying to put on a mask, be someone else, and pretend to be another person. People will like you for who you are. Of course, in this video, I talked about several practices and ways that you can improve. But here, at no point do I want to tell you to change who you are. I want you to project your best version of yourself, and that you use this to be able to create this positive, authentic, and true image and be valued in the workplace. In fact, charisma is a practice that is closely associated with authenticity. I've already made a video talking about how you can become a more charismatic person, and I'll leave the video here for you to watch right after this. I'll wrap it up here. The course link is in the description.